beautiful pasta carbonara. I'm going to get you as close to the classic technique as possible, and I'm going to give you a nice little surprise for ingredient number 5. I'm going to use penne. This one takes 10 minutes. We're going to go in with 300 grams of the pasta, and then we're going to season that with salt. Let's talk about the other classic ingredient. Fresh eggs, smoked bacon. That's what I'm going to use today. Then on to the cheese. I'm going to use Parmesan today because I think it's more accessible. Now look, as this has come to the boil, lid will come off. Let's give it a nice little stir so nothing sticks together. And let's get cooking. I'm going to start by being controversial in the sense of I'm going to add a veg. This is not classic at all. I'm going to use some lovely asparagus. Why? Because it cooks really quickly, because it's sweet and delicious, because it contrasts the salty, smoky, savoury flavours. What I would encourage you to do is to cut it to around the same size as this pasta. I'm just going to cut the asparagus stalk at a slight angle. OK, so pasta cooking. Let's start frying things. So take your bacon, and I'm just going to thinly slice it. I'm going to go into the pan with a little oil. And then we want to render the fat out of the bacon and get it nice and golden. So while that's happening, I want to do my egg sauce. Take 4 eggs, remove the yolk, leaving behind the white. So the yolk here is delicate, it's rich, and that's what's going to thicken this sauce. Save those egg whites, put them in the freezer, and that will be for another day. So now if we look in the pan, it's getting nice and golden and crispy. And I want to give you a nice convincing amount of black pepper now, right? So about a teaspoon. Let's finish this sauce. So I'm going to take the Parmesan. A little handful is all I need. Now, just whip it up. I'm going to steal just a little bit of cooking water and just stir it in. You can see the bacon is nice and dark. We're going to go in with the asparagus. Eggs cook really quick. We do not want scrambled egg, okay? So I'm now going to turn the heat of this pan off. I'm then going to take the pasta and some of this water into this pan, and we'll go in with the penne. So you want this pan to cool down. If you put that egg sauce in there now, it would scramble. You want to just leave it for 1 minute. Then we're going to go in with the sauce, like that. And it's that residual heat that gives you the classic sauce. Look at that. Just beautiful. Silky smooth, elegant, and then to finish, just one little stroke, Parmesan on top, and one last little flourish of black pepper. Oh, look at that. Come on. The flavour is massive.
Hi lovely people of the food tube! It is springtime, and why not to make a fantastic, delicious springtime risotto. I love risotto because it's so simple, so good, full of flavor, full of aromas. This is spring. I make it for about 4. First of all, you use about a quart of onions, cut them very, 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 very fine. Spring in here with the onions, yes! Courgettes, chop them lengthwise. Now, 1 stalk of celery. Remove a stringy bit, chop it. Oh, the smell, the flavor, the aroma is incredible. So, I'm going to use 10 asparagus. Remove it, the top of the asparagus, and keep them on the side. Cut them in small pieces. Last, not the least, fresh peas. It's so beautiful. But if you don't have a fresh one, do not worry. Use frozen peas. I'm gonna bring this pot here because it's quite hot. Just a knob of butter. Fantastic, look at that. Then I use a very good olive oil, a tablespoon. Now you got this beautiful combination of butter and oil. Let's start the cooking. Onions straight in. Get the celery in now. Sweat, not burn. Now we need to get the rice. I cook it for about 4, so I use 4 handfuls of rice. Stir the rice in. Yes. Oh, that is fantastic. You cook it for about a minute, and then you get a good wine. Remember, white wine. The wine you drink it is the wine you have to cook it. There is no such a thing of a cooking wine. You put about half a glass of wine inside. the music. This is what I'm talking about. The music is unbelievable. Now, the alcohol evaporated, but the lovely flavor of the grapes stays inside the pots, which is incredible. Then, make sure you have a very hot stock. You just put 1 ladle, chicken or vegetable stock is perfect. For about 4 people, you need about 1.5 liters. And now is the time. I put the courgette inside. I get the asparagus, just put them inside. Give me a quick stir. You have 1 ladle or 2 ladle of stock. Turn the gas down and keep stirring. You have to keep stirring it. You always have to make sure that you use a wooden spoon, not metal spoons, because if you use metal spoons, when you stir the rice, you actually break the rice. When you do with wooden spoon, you caress in the rice. You give me that lovely flavor. You see, now, because I stir it, the grains of rice touch the other one and become very, 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 very creamy. And finally now, lovely fresh peas. Use about 1 generous handful. Stir it. You can see it start to dry up. So it is the time now to put more stock inside. It's ready. Let me just turn it off. Look at that cream inside. Incredible. All the vegetables which I put inside, they release that fantastic, beautiful flavor. And the rice took more like a sea. Have you noticed it? How many rivers go inside the sea? And the sea never say enough. And this is what the rice is doing. Takes all the flavor you can put them inside. This is why it's good. Then, asparagus, because those are so tender, you don't need to cook. A little knob of a butter. Just cut them in small pieces. Couple of tablespoons of grated over parmesan. I give it that lovely cheesy flavor. Put them all together with such a joy. Now, the zest of a lemon. Smell is incredible. Look, just a little bit. Do not overdo it. Mint. Mint make everything spring. Very, very small. Straight in. Because I left it for an extra second, I need to put a little bit more of a stock. This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at that creaminess. Grated over parmesan, olive oil, just a little touch, mint, and this is the perfect spring risotto.
Look at this, beautiful shoulder of lamb. And I have to be honest, the shoulder of lamb is my favourite bit of the whole animal. And I tell you what, if more people bought it, it would give butchers all around the country a much easier life, because legs of lamb, walk out the door. Racks of lamb, walk out the door. But these little babies need a tiny bit of thought, a little bit of TLC, and cook it slow. And this meat is sweet, it's delicious, and you don't have to do too much to it. So, first of all, get yourself a knife and just score up erratically the lamb, just to open it up a little bit, like that. And then all I want to do is get a roasting tray. I'm going to get a garlic clove and just smash them up like that. Throw a few on the bottom. Get some salt. Season the lamb on both sides. And then pepper. And real simple. The whole point of this is utter simplicity, but then care when you cook it. Get yourself a nice wodge of rosemary. Look at that stuff. Beautiful. And just tear it into bits and put it in the bottom of the tray. Rosemary and garlic, classic combo for lamb. And then put your lamb in nice and snug here. And then put a few of the garlic cloves on top here. Tear up some rosemary here. Nice big handful of rosemary. Be brave. And then just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil just to get that fat rendering and going. And then tin foil. 2 sheets of tin foil. Put this over here like this. Tightly seal it. And then This is the bit that's going to turn this simple, good value piece of meat into the most incredible roast, right? 4 hours at, well, what I've done is I've got an oven at full whack, OK? And as soon as it goes in, turn it straight down to 170 degrees Celsius, or about 330 Fahrenheit. And what happens is that intense heat gets on the lamb, gets it sort of going, and then the oven cools down, and we're going to gently cook that now, that lower temperature, for about 4 hours. And in 4 hours' time, that lamb is going to be so delicious, sticky, you can pull it apart. It'll be the best roast lamb you ever have. Right, let's get this lamb out. Beautiful. Fantastic smell. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see, even though it's had tin foil over it, it's got beautiful colour all the way over. And what I do now, the shoulder of lamb, you can see the bone is literally falling out. That's how tender and delicious it is. I'm just going to pick it up, put it onto our platter, like that. Let that just sit. You know there's a bit of meat that's just... See how that? Look. That is total tenderness. And... Oh. Boo. So in here, we've got these beautiful garlic cloves, and if you just squeeze them, then all this beautiful, lovely, soft, sweet garlickiness, you can just mix it with a bit of gravy and then a bit, you know, potato or veg or whatever, and it is the best thing ever in the world. So don't go throwing those away. And then what you need to do now is get rid of the rest of the rosemary and any of the excess oil, like that. So if you look in the bottom of the pan now, what you've got is beautiful stickiness. So I'm going to put that on the heat, and we're going to make a funky, old-school caper and mint sauce, but not like a cold mint sauce, hot mint sauce. So first of all, with all the sticky goodness here, I want to put a tablespoon of flour. And obviously what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to thicken your sauce, which is fine. And you can see the colour of it already is that marmitey stickiness that's cooked out of the lamb. And you never want to throw that away, that's gold dust. And while that's doing their thing, I've got some lovely fresh mint from the garden. Finely slice it. And I tell you what, when you make your own fresh mint sauce, as opposed to just getting it out of the jar, you know, it takes seconds to do, and it just tastes so fantastic. And then bring your capers into it. Literally put the two into each other and continue to chop. Go straight in with your mint and capers. And then I've got a pint of chicken stock. Bring it to the boil. I don't need you to simmer it for hours, just enough to get all that stickiness dissolved so you've got that wonderful flavour. And you'll be ready to rock and roll. Over here, I've just chopped up some swede, some carrots, some potatoes. Boil them till they're soft, and I'm going to drain them. So pour your veg in there. And then, once you've drained it, put it back in the pan. And we can put them straight back on the heat. Nice knob of butter. And for me, this is it, you know. Put the lamb on, go out, have some fun, go do your thing with your mates, your kids, go down the pub, go watch football. Come back, you know, you've got the tin foil on the lamb, nothing's going to go wrong too quickly. Get the gravy on, bit of smashed veg, and you can pull it all together pretty damn quick. And a nice pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and then get a masher and just mash them up like that. I don't want you to mash the hell out of them. I'm not looking for a puree. You're not going to get extra points for making baby food. But just look at the colours. Beautiful. So, sauce is ready. Let's bring this together now. We get our smashed veg in here. Look at the colour of that. Total comfort food. Just great. And then a little extra knob of butter just in the top there. Let it melt. With the sauce, You've got that intensity of the lamb in the flavour, you've got the stock, the freshness of the mint and the capers. About a tablespoon of good red wine, white wine, cider vinegar to give it a bit of a twang. And obviously that acidity will help cut through the richness of the lamb. And then I'm just going to pour this lovely gravy in. Look at that. Wonderful hot caper and mint sauce, which will just knock your socks off. Works with lamb, a proper treat. And then I've got some lovely Cavolo Nero, just been quickly boiled. Look at that. Tossed in a little olive oil and a squeeze of lemon juice. It's got salt and pepper in it already. So, lovely bit of greens, proper mash or smashed veg, incredible gravy here. And I want to show you this beautiful lamb because the whole point of this dish, apart from the sweetness and flavour, is the tenderness, right? And literally all I have to do is put my knife in here and you can see it all just bust apart. Look at that. That is the real deal. And once you've tried that lovely shoulder of lamb, you'll be doing it again and again and again.
Hi, lovely people of the food tube. Today, I'm cooking in my garden. Look at that. Even, I didn't know that. I can almost match the shirt with the flour. What I'm gonna cook? I'm gonna cook farfalle with pancetta, fresh peas and mint. It was delicious. You will love it. What a combination. First of all, for the farfalle, I need to put the salt inside. So don't forget, 10 grams or less for each liter of water. Now, because we use fresh peas, so fresh peas sometimes a little bit crunchy. We wanted a crunchiness. So 3 handfuls of fresh peas and farfalle. You need about 100 grams of farfalle for each person. So I'm gonna put nearly 200 because I love it. Right, we need a pancetta. If you don't have a pancetta, you can do with a nice bacon. Don't be afraid. You know, bacon is good. Special smoked bacon is unbelievable good. Right, slice it. Thin slice, look. Then you put them all together and you slice it. Thin slice it. It's about 100 gram, 150 gram. This is what it's about. Fantastic. And an onion, you need about half onion, medium onions. A very good olive oil. Look at that. Right. Pancetta goes in, yeah. Onions goes in straight away. Cook it. I'm gonna get the spoon out. I'm gonna get the spoon out. Watch this. Is it good? Stir it. I wanted to soften it, but I don't want to brown it. Okay, let's put the pasta inside. The pasta is ready. Takes about a minute. It's done. We put them inside. Pieces done exactly the same time. Look at that. All in, all in, all in. Okay, that is done. Now, let's go put it back. Yeah. Now, let it cook a little bit in this pasta water. The peas, the pancetta, the onions, and the farfalle. Now, I'm waiting for this pasta water to evaporate a little bit, and then can coat it, and the pasta can become very, very silky. So, just do this. You can see it become more saucy because the pasta took more that lovely pasta water flavor inside. Some of the evaporated and that become more easy to handle. At this stage, just turn it up. Now, we need to put some Parmesan cheese inside. Yes. It's good. Stir them a little bit. Nice mint. What a combination! Mint and peas. The world love mint and peas. Yeah, just a nice little bit. Just put them inside. I mix like this. And last, not the least, shall I do 3 times? Amalfi lemons, I love it. Little lemons. Now, let's plate it. Come on, get inside. Okay. Grated over Parmesan, just a little bit, not too much. Little touch of a mint. And this is farfalle with pancetta, peas and mint. Enjoying it.
This is Risotto Primavera. So the beginning of every risotto we ever make starts with onions. So I'm going to use 2 onions. Okie dokie. So in a pan, we'll go in with some olive oil. We want to fry the onions now. This is one of my favourite veggies of all time. This is where it went into the ground. It's a bit more woody here. So if you just bend the asparagus, see where it just cracked? And if I take 4 or 5, see how they all do it at different levels? So what I've got here is 1.2 litres of lovely veggie stock. Those stalks that I've sort of taken to one side, I'm not going to throw that away, okay? Because that is full of flavour. So if I just get these stalks and sort of crush them, so I just crack them so they release that flavour even more, and that goes into the stock. Then back to the asparagus, the most prized piece are these tips. We'll chop the tips off right here for kind of, let's call it garnish, right? So we can see it, and we don't want to overcook it. However, this bit, that's full of flavour. So I'm going to finely slice this now. This is what's going to give the risotto most of its flavour. So just fry this off now for about 5 to 10 minutes until they're all really, really soft and it's nice and tasty. So in the meantime, I'm going to prep some mint. So what I do is I just take off the bigger leaves here and put them to one side. And then the small, cute leaves, I'm going to save for garnish. And then the stalks, we can get those in the stock. So into the stock they go. And then look, this is softened up beautiful. Now we're going to go in with the risotto rice. You know, for me, I reckon every house should have a packet of this, right? Just sitting there waiting because, you know, risotto is one of those things that most people love. So you want about 300 grams of beautiful risotto rice in there. And we'll stir that into the onions and the asparagus. So if you just fry that risotto rice off a little bit, it starts to go translucent. We're going to start adding the stock, ladle at a time. So I'll use a little sieve just to catch any bits. And you can see, frying straight away. We'll stir it in, and then once it's gone, we'll add some more. And that's the recipe. Basically, you add the stock bit by bit, and once it's mainly cooked away, then you add some more. If you look in the pan, you can see how it's already starting to get creamy. In about 18 minutes, that rice will be cooked. So I'm using something completely not Italian, which is a cottage cheese. So the Parmesan is our authentic friend. Another great product, by the way. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to grate some of that. So definitely the fine side of the grater. Back over here. Wow, it smells so good. Now, when it comes to the rest of the mint here, what I love to do is just gather it up and sort of just roll it up, and then we're going to finally slice it. Okay, so we're about 16 minutes in, and I've added nearly most of the stock. So I'm going to go in with the asparagus tips. So the theory there is that we get all the flavour, all the sweetness from the stalks. Really, really nice. So the asparagus tips go in. So just give yourself a handful of lovely frozen peas. And again, the peas are already blanched, so they don't need loads of cooking. So at this stage in the game, what I'm going to do is 2 things. Turn off the heat, because that's done. I'll just put a nice bit of extra virgin olive oil in there. Then I'll go in with the cottage cheese, like that. And then a nice handful of Parmesan. And then our fresh mint. So it all goes in at the end, off the heat. And then I kind of fold it in and look at the change. So although the cottage cheese is totally not Italian, the curds start to act like oozy mozzarella. So lid goes on top, let it relax for a minute or 2, right? Let's serve it on a nice platter. So I quite like serving these either in the bowl, if I'm going to be rustic and scruffy, or on a lovely big old platter. I'll take this off. Look at that, guys. It looks so good. Guys, look at that texture. And try not to splash yourself like me. Okay, look at that. Oozy, gorgeous risotto. Come on, what a dish. Finish it with those beautiful mint tips. With a little bit of Parmesan. What a thing. Let's have a little try. Wow. It's the sweetness from the peas and the asparagus. Oh, That is spring in a mouthful with the Parmesan and the little curds of cheese. So, 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 so good. So what are you waiting for? Get the recipe and have a nice little cook up. Soup with toast of whipped ricotta, lemon zest and chili. This is a delicious little soup that I know you're gonna love. Full of color, full of texture, full of nutrition. And this is a brand new recipe from my new cookbook, Eat Yourself Healthy. And it can happen in about 25, 30 minutes. It's a really nice thing to do. So this is a celebration of veggies, and actually veggies in many different forms. I'm gonna be using artichokes, which are jarred. I'm gonna be using fresh leeks, which is fantastic. You can swap these out for onions if you wish. And then some frozen veggies from the freezer, broad beans and peas. This is a real celebration of veggies, but I think it's really important that we don't get so kind of worthy about seasons and it has to be from a farmer's market. I love all that, by the way, even if you grow your own, but also like being busy, corner shops, supermarkets, and kind of working with things so you can enjoy spring all year round, or more importantly, you can enjoy the nutrition of spring all year round. So let's start it off. Pan on, nice big pan. We'll kick off with these artichokes. These are actually already cut into quarters. If yours aren't, cut them into quarters. We'll place that into a pan. I'll pour in a couple of tablespoons of the oil that it comes in, and let's just put the artichokes into the pan like that. Add some vinegar to it and some mustard. Put the lid on, shake it up, and you make a lovely French dressing, and that'll be good for a week in the fridge. So I'll put that over here. What I want to do is start off the frying by just putting these artichokes in one little layer. Let's go to the world of fresh. So we love leeks, sweet, creamy, and delicious. What I tend to do is just take the outer leaf off like that and just run my knife down like that, pull this off. And once I've done that, get the tip of my knife and run it down the length of the leek. We'll compost this. So I'll trim the green part off here and I'll use this for making a stew or something nice like that. Wash away any of those gritty bits. And then what I want to do is just run my knife down the length again. What's nice about giving them a wash as well is you create a little bit of moisture. It's going to really soften up nicely. And then in we go with all these veggies. So look, mix everything up, give it a light seasoning with salt and pepper, and we'll let the excess water from washing the leeks create a nice little bit of steam. And what we want to do is cook this on a medium heat for 15 minutes, just to really help those leeks become sweet, delicious, and beautifully buttery. So let that cook, and then I'll show you what to do next. After 15 minutes, you can see the leeks have really cooked down. It smells amazing. You've created good flavor and texture here. If you want to kind of get real good food into your life and you're busy, like using jarred food, tinned food, fresh food, and even frozen food, this is important. And there's a few things that we should probably know about the freezer. The freezer's amazing. It's like your best friend. So when you pick veggies, their nutrition is depleting all the time, but when you snap freeze it, it's really, really helpful and useful. This is broad beans. Really common. You get them in most of the supermarkets. Really, really delicious. So we'll stir that in. A classic, frozen peas. People just love it. And again, embracing the freezer and frozen veggies. It's super cool. They're sitting there in the freezer waiting to be used. So what I've tried to do in this book and in this recipe is show you how easy it is to get more veggies into your life, which are super nutritious and often incredibly affordable. So here I've got 60-gram bunch of mint. Just grab it at the top, rip that off like that, and do the same on the other half, right? So we can keep these stalks for putting in stews or cooking potatoes. So do not waste that. We'll put that to one side. And then with this, we just roughly chop it, and boldly and bravely, we're going in with the mint. So mint, broad beans, peas, leeks, they love each other. It's a good combo. So stir in the mint, cook it down, and we're almost treating it like spinach. Now, I'm gonna add a litre of boiled water. You could add a chicken stock cube or a veggie stock cube if you wanted to, but actually, I think we've achieved enough flavour by slow cooking those leeks already. Bring that now to the boil. We don't have to cook the life out of it because we want to keep the colour, the texture, and the nutrition, right? But I want to give you the really nice little trick and it feels really indulgent. So I can take just a couple of little ladles of this beautiful soup and whiz it up. We can simply pour it back in, salt and pepper, and let that tick over while we make some beautiful toasts. And I've got a lovely loaf of bread here. So 4 nice centimetre slices of good bread. The better the bread, the better the flavour. So this is going to go under the grill. So we'll let that grill. It won't take long at all. In that time, we're going to grill it. What I want to do is show you a way of using a really delicious cheese that's very, very healthy. This is ricotta, kind of neutral, light, delicious, and super healthy, high protein cheese. You can get it in the supermarkets. And what I love to do is just put a pot of the ricotta in like that, season it with a little salt. I'll take a little lemon zest and then some Parmesan, 20 grams in weight of Parmesan, a little bit of lemon zest in and on it, like that. We'll season it a little bit with salt and pepper, and then we just take a little spatula and smash it, whip it, mix it. You can go coarse or you can go smooth and shiny like that. So, soup done, that lovely ricotta done, lovely hot toast. Look at that. Put a nice little dollop of that ricotta on each toast. Any extra you have, you can put in the fridge. That'll last for 2-3 days easily. Just use the back of the spoon just to push that ricotta around to the edge. If you've got any extra ricotta, you can put that in a little bowl in the fridge. It's good for like 2-3 days, and you can use it as a dip. To make this even more delicious, I just want to take a little bit of lemon zest and a little bit of extra Parmesan. Look at that. And a little Parmesan goes such a long way. Just a few extra mint leaves just on top. I love it. And very important, flaked dried chilies. That little bit of heat with the peas and broad beans works so well with the lemon, the creamy ricotta, the peas, the broad beans. It's a beautiful thing. So let's just plate some of this up. I'm just going to take a nice big bowl of this creamy and chunky soup. Look at that. So look, I'm going to serve up 2 lovely bowls of this soup. Any leftovers you can keep in the fridge for like 3 or 4 days. And if you just serve that with a nice little toast on the side like that, I think that is just a beautiful way to enjoy veggies. You can slurp it, you can get involved, it's comforting, you can dip in your beautiful toast. So for me, just that simple act of making a delicious homemade soup with accessible ingredients is a cool thing. Okay, Mr. Oliver here. Today, we're gonna cook scrambled eggs 3 ways. We're gonna go a la English way, a la the French way, and the American way. Beautiful scrambled eggs, so delicious. The chicken egg is the most delicious and cheap form of brilliant protein on the planet. Fact. They have loads of micronutrients and they're so quick to cook. So, English scrambled eggs. We're gonna go onto a medium heat. I am gonna go 2 eggs per person. I'm gonna do it for 2. So just whisk those eggs up. Now, one little request. I hate battery eggs. So minimum for me, standard eggs is barn eggs. And of course, free range and free range organic is the way to go. So, let's do it. I'm gonna go in with a nice knob of butter. Straight in, just with a little salt. In we go. And for me, the perfect thing to move the eggs around is a little spatula like this. So I'm just gonna move it around, and very quickly you can see it setting around the base. You can see there's little cooked curds and the raw egg. So I'm just going to leave it every sort of 5 seconds. I give it a little move around. You don't want it to catch too much. Some people put milk in, some people put cream in. If you cook it right, you don't need any of that. This is cooked now, but you've got to remember that this pan is still warm and they're going to continue to cook. So all I do is when I get to this stage, I just put it to one corner of the pan, and that way it's not going to kind of overcook anymore. I get my toast. You can butter your toast, but remember, we've got a nice knob of butter already on our scrambled eggs. So on we go with our lovely, beautiful English-style scrambled eggs. You can see it's medium curds, still with moisture around. Completely beautiful, but also still soft in texture. So, English eggs done. Soft, gorgeous, delicate. Next, French style. Bonjour, je m'appelle Jamie. J'aime le œuf. Œuf? Oeuf? Anyway, French style eggs. You lightly season for free-range eggs. We whip it up, and see here, we've got about an inch of boiling water. And we're gonna cook this over a bain-marie, a water bath, okay? Now, here's the thing. Eggs cook at a very low temperature, and it takes a while. Okay, so now you can see there are kind of curds beginning to form. You can see them on the end of here, just about. And now is a good time to put a few knobs of butter in there. So I'm going to go from a whisk now, and I'm going to use a little spatula. And you're going to start to see a more gentle, delicate curd coming out. So look, there we go. We're in a good place. On we go. And very, very different to the English. When you eat it, it's very, very fine. It's very luxurious. So there you go, guys. French style eggs. They are delicious. And finally, food tubers, we're gonna finish with the American style eggs. Okay, so we're gonna start off the same. Put a little salt into our 4 eggs. We're gonna use a frying pan. Go in with a knob of butter. Let's get that bubbling away. We're gonna go in with the eggs. You'll see it starts to set. And as it starts to set, I'm bringing in these beautiful sheets. And you get this kind of roulade, folded, gorgeous diner eggs. See these beautiful sheets happening, guys? The same rules apply to the French and the English. We want it to be gentle cooking, so it's a joy. So we're looking good, guys. Last but not least, there's something quite delicate but substantial about this. And you can see there's shiny parts where it's just cooking. There's cooked parts that are delicate and sheety. Look at that. Scrambled American style eggs. So tasty. Now, all of these styles, French, English and American, they've all had the same eggs, same pinch of salt, same amount of butter, but the method that we've used to cook them has completely not only changed the texture and the look, but the taste. So we've done the English, the French and the American. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's hundreds of countries from all around the world. So how do you cook your eggs? Let us know, we love it. That's what FoodTube is all about.
I'm going to use the sweet irony taste of this incredibly versatile spring veg that's bang in season right now, giving a bit of time and love to create this beautiful pasta stuffed with an utterly Moorish filling to create an oozy, cheesy spring cannelloni.
I'm gonna get a pan on, nice medium high heat. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm then gonna get some herbs. Go in with some of this lovely oregano. You can use dried herbs. It's a very flexible recipe. And this is a fantastic principle for epic flavour with greens. And it doesn't have to be just chard. It can be spinach, kale, cabbage, things like that. So look, you can see a sizzle's coming on here. So give it a little shake. As that comes up, I'll just slice up 2 small onions. And they tend, greens in general, to be a little bit bitter. So to kind of balance the bitterness, we add things like onions for sweetness, right? So 4 cloves of garlic. This is New Seasons garlic, so it's a little bit sweeter and softer, but the regular stuff, it's still brilliant. What I tend to do now with Swiss chard is separate the greens from the stalk. Think about it like, you know, carrots, celery. You can use it beautifully in cooking. And I'll put the stalks into the pan a little bit earlier because they need a bit more cooking. Now the stalks, you can serve underneath a lovely chicken breast or a steak, lamb chop. Now, cannelloni is a filled pasta. And this is going to be the filling for the cannelloni. So the little pinch of salt and pepper, right? What we can do with these leaves is just clank them up and get them in that pan. This is a kilo of greens. So now we've got these stalks tender, we go in with the leafy part. And that massive pile of greens is getting cooked down. Cooked down means concentrated. Concentrated means delicious flavour. After about 10 minutes, it's cooked down. And you can see the colour is dark and delicious. There's a couple of little things I do to make most veggies, but particularly any green leafy veggies, really delicious. About a quarter of a nutmeg. It's really fragrant. It's got a sort of edge of sweetness to it. And then a little bit of lemon juice, or it could be a little swig of vinegar. Just lifts it. Lemons, obviously not from this country, but you can grow citrus for sure. And just a little squeeze of juice like that just lifts these greens to the next level. And then salt and pepper. I'm going to get it on here. Look at that. As that cools down a bit, I'm just going to start a very simple tomato sauce. I'm going to do it in the tray that I'm going to cook the cannelloni. Throw it in with a nice, heart-healthy olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, and then dried chilli. You get a more savoury, rounded chilli flavour than when it's fresh. This dried chilli is almost like sun-dried. So when you dry a chilli, you do get different flavours. So I'm just going to grab some basil. That is sort of the traditional, you know, tomato sauce vibe. Just tear it in. I think growing herbs is almost the best way to start growing a garden if you've never done it before. And then 3 tins of good quality plum tomatoes. Just fill 1 can of water. This is a really quick tomato sauce, so just bring it to the boil. And look, you can see now, that's pretty fine. No effort. I'm just putting those tubes onto the greens like that. Use your finger just to squash it in. If you wanted to put any cheese through this, you can. You could add mushrooms to the story. You could put a few olives in there. Like, have fun, be creative. For me, this dish is about delicious Swiss chard, contrasted with this beautiful, bright, light, sweet tomato sauce. We've got our little stack of beautiful cannelloni. I'm just going to nestle these cannelloni into the tray. I'm going to leave this on a low heat, and I want to give you a really quick white sauce that's delicious and something a little bit different, and based around a cheese from Italy that is much more common in the UK now, ricotta. And you can get it in most supermarkets. So we put the ricotta, 250 grams, into here, about 200 mils of milk. Cheddar's delicious. It's not Italian, but we love it, and I think it bakes really well, and it's delicious in lasagnas and cannelonis anyway, so 60 grams of that goes in, and about the same of Parmesan. Again, about 60 grams will make you a delicious white sauce. It's a bit more expensive than cheddar, so that's why I mentioned cheddar, because it's a really good sort of economical swap out. So go one or the other, or blend, like I have. A pinch of salt and 1 egg. Just whisk it up in a liquidizer. In no time at all, you've now got a beautiful, thick white sauce. So now what we do is just pour that white sauce over the top like that. And that will set and be utterly delicious. Look at that. I'll finish that with just a little grating of Parmesan, and we're good to go. So that'll go in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. Let's have a little clean down, and then I'll go and get some salad. Right, let's wash these. I could never do this in the kitchen. See, this is my kitchen, so I can do it. but also I can upgrade this. Wait for it. Who needs a salad spinner? Okay, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, red wine vinegar, pinch of salt and pepper. Lovely little salad. Right, let's have a look at our beautiful cannelloni. It smells amazing! Oh, look at that. That, my friends, is a thing of beauty. I know which way the cannelloni have gone because I've racked them up like that. Oh, look at that. Just gorgeous. So a little bit of side salad, a little fresh bit of Parmesan, springtime charred cannelloni. Let's get in there. And that plate is this season.